I have three little ones, and they're
Oh,
all,
okay.
they can get loud at times in the house.
Yeah.
So this is just a little bit of quiet in here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So,
we know about that. We have a newborn too.
oh, you do. Well, congratulations. Is your
Thank
first
you.
one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Boy or girl?
Girl.
Girl. Okay. And how old is she?
2 months.
Oh, 2 months. Very fresh then, huh?
Yeah.
Very,
Caught
very.
up fast.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, so I guess before we get started, what would be the most help for you right now? It's always good for me to get to know you both a little bit and kind of get an idea of what you're trying to accomplish in terms of purchasing your home.
Yeah. So just to bring you up to speed to where we're at.
Okay.
We bank with a credit union called Schools First Credit Union.
Okay.
And that's because I am an educator. I'm a certificated substitute teacher.
Awesome.
Okay. So they gave us a pre-approval at 3.5%, and based on DTI,
Okay.
which was right at the cusp, we got pre-approved for homes that don't have HOA.
Okay.
Because HOA is going to tip over, move the scale
Right.
for DTI. Our approval was for 429.
Yeah.
We can send you an email with the exact numbers later on.
Perfect.
So they assigned us a realtor who we gave. Do you have a screen sharing option?
I do. Let me see if I can. I believe I have to make you the host, and then you can share the screen. So I'm going to make you the host right now.
Okay, so we'll share the screen with you of what we have.
Okay.
And it actually looks like it's for 436.
436. Okay.
And the loan amount is 392.
Okay.
Now, Betty just finished med school and is doing residency, so she's only worked partly this year as a resident.
Okay.
But she has a contract on file for a gross of 57.
Okay.
Annual, because residency is 3 years.
Right.
And my last pay stub for this year is at 45.5. That's with Los Angeles Unified School District.
Okay.
So I don't know if we can be eligible for the Cal HFA,
right.
But we have some money hived off for deposit.
Okay.
Let's just call it 40K.
Okay.
So we would definitely need help with Cal Plus for closing costs.
Okay.
And the credit union has also indicated that they'll be comfortable with a 10K reserve, which would have to fill out paperwork from a relative if we don't have that. So we're trying to save as much as we can on down payment so we don't have to make phone calls to have a reserve and also for closing costs.
Okay.
So estimated gross is, I would say 100 and change on paper.
Okay.
That excludes unemployment income. Okay. Which comes in the summer when I'm off school.
Okay.
So my taxes show different numbers.
Right.
I can add another 10K to that.
Okay.
Especially this year because of the uplifts from COVID.
Right.
So I don't know if it's better to go with paperwork from the taxes or the W-2s that we have at the moment.
Right.
For 2019, 2018.
Okay.
I'm also a student. I'm at USC Law School.
Awesome.
The reason I'm bringing up that point is because in January, I'll have some scholarships disbursed, as well as some school loans.
Right.
And I suspect that's going to ding me some.
Right.
On TransUnion and Experian.
Right.
So that's why we moved forward with the credit union, got credit run and everything. Okay. So we were wondering whether it's possible for you to help us as realtors. And based on the screen that's being shared right now,
Right.
those are the numbers we're looking at.
Mhm.
Okay.
And if possible, we can do probably another run for credit for the Cal Plus if we're eligible to
Okay.
help on the closing costs, which are 3%.
Correct.
The credit union was also giving us a rebate of, I think, 2% on relative fees. I don't know if you can match that.
Okay.
The numbers you're looking at are based on a 10% deposit for district staff, which also makes us eligible for not paying mortgage insurance.
Okay.
So we understand with Ventura Credit, with the Ventura people, we don't mind running credit again if we're going to get a better deal.
Right.
But if this is okay as it looks right now,
Mhm.
with 10% down as staff, no mortgage insurance, the
Right.
interest rate, then we'll just need help in looking for a place. Now, because she might be working long hours and we have a newborn. So we're looking for, and if schools reopen, so we're looking for a property that's 25-mile radius of Union Station.
Okay.
Preferably, what we've been looking at is eastwards, off the 210 freeway or the 10 freeway.
Okay.
Along the goal line. The goal line is being extended to Montclair in probably the next 5 years.
Okay.
Based on research, all the properties that are along the goal line, the property value shoots up quite significantly once the goal line stations are built.
Okay.
So right now it's at Azusa Citrus College, APU. And it's the next station will be Glendora. After that, there'll be Laverne, followed by Pomona, Claremont,
Okay.
Montclair is the final one.
Okay.
So next to that is Upland, which is close by.
Okay.
So our dream house just closed a couple of days ago. Can you share a screen of that? She's going to share a screen of that. It was about 1,800 square feet.
Okay.
3 bedroom, 3 bath in Upland. And it closed for 430.
Yeah.
It closed for 430.
Okay.
It had no HOA fees. It looked like the previous owner was someone who was leasing it using Airbnb, and because Airbnb has tanked, got rid of the place pretty fast. Lots of space. I drive a Tundra, so my wife has a regular 4-door sedan. So we use a garage space for 2.
Okay.
Because I don't use I drive less than 5,000 miles a year.
Okay.
Are you sharing this screen? So can
I
you share?
I don't see a shared screen right now.
Yeah, just give me 1 minute. I think because of okay, let's.
Oh, you know, Zillow does a pop-up.
Yeah.
So how about we drop off a link in the chat,
Okay.
and then you'll be able to access it yourself. It was a quick close. We don't know if it's these guys who want to do something for cash. Do you see the link in the chat?
Yep. Opening it right now.
So just let me.
So those are specs for price. That's my end, and then she'll give you another spiel as well.
Yeah. No problem.
Yeah, so this property here has HOA fees. Actually, I just confirmed. But I guess what we're saying is like the price and also the space and the location, we would be okay with something like that.
Okay.
Now, for the pre-approval, they've told us that it has to be a single family home.
Right.
Without HOA fees and all that.
Right.
So that's a key factor.
Yeah, because HOA would tip us over in terms of DTI.
Yeah.
We're right at the cusp because of school loan payments. We've consolidated our school loans to IBR. So right now I have 0 payment until November next year. She's at 300.
Okay.
So that's a reason why our DTI is really tight.
Right.
And we're stuck with single homes.
Yep.
Another thing is, we should just probably disclose this right off the bat. We were assigned a realtor by the credit union.
Correct.
Who I think just plugged in our information.
Uh-huh.
And we just get this, it's like auto forward, it's like spam.
Right.
We get properties to look at which are boarded up buildings which are not occupied,
right,
uninhabitable, and we're thinking, is she actually looking at these places?
Right.
Or is it an algorithm, plugged in numbers and an algorithm is just shooting out properties which it's one of them was a warehouse. It was not even like a place with bathrooms. Okay. So we prefer a real person, like the way we can see you on Zoom,
right?
With a family who knows what's going on, not just someone who is totally clueless about what's going on in that side of LA County and is sending shooting out emails from Long Beach. Right. And texts, which just seem boilerplate kind of information.
Right. No, I appreciate that. And also just in being upfront on my end, I appreciate everything that you've shared. I live in Camarillo and Ventura County. Mm-hmm. So the commute in terms of where I specialize, it's pretty much Camarillo, Ventura, Oxnard, Thousand Oaks, Moore Park. Mm-hmm. Simi Valley is where I manage the office out of. Yvette, actually, that's what I'm sharing, the brains of the operation. Yvette lives in Simi. She knows the valley pretty well. But it's as we get more towards LA, typically there's people that we would either refer the business to just to make sure it's somebody who's an area specialist, because we can't, as well as we know the market, LA is still a different animal in a lot of different ways in terms of how that market works. Very aggressive. We're aggressive out here, but it's even more aggressive because we have more people moving from LA out to Ventura County as well. And so a lot of the agents are writing on our properties out here in this area. So regardless, I'm grateful for you guys reaching out, and I want to help in every way that we can help you in terms of making sure that we get you the right representation, whether we can do it or not. Just because I don't want to try to go out there and show you property. And you'll see, I mean, this is in Camarillo, in my backyard. I live in Camarillo, and I'm showing property here. And we've gotten beat out with my last buyers, 4 or 5 different properties by 12 offers. You know, one was almost 18 offers. Recently, we just got our offer accepted, but that's after 3-4 months of showing property. And I know this market inside and out, you know, and I know the agents, I know the people. We're still struggling. And my buyers had roughly similar type of, you know, about 5% down, and we were competing against people with a lot more money down, and it's just very challenging. So I want you to know we're here for you, and we want to help in every way that we can, but I also need to do you justice by making sure you have somebody who specializes in the areas that you're looking at. Does that make sense?
Yes. Also, just to mention, I mentioned radius because we've also been looking at, in addition to the goal line, we're open to places like North Hollywood or above NoHo, where there's access to, or close access to, either the Metrolink, the Ventura Metrolink that comes into Union Station, or the Red Line, which ends at North Hollywood. So at least, like, if you can, we've seen some properties in NoHo, like, but they're smaller ones. This would be like a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,000 square feet, 9-something square feet. Right. But you can ride a bike for like 6 miles and you're at NoHo. Okay. And you can catch the train, the Red Line straight. Right. Yeah. So that we're also open to that. I don't know if that falls into your circumference or province of specialty.
Well, I can ask Yvette. Yvette, have you shown property? What's the furthest out that you've shown property?
Well, I mean, I've gone out to towards like Valencia, even that direction, but North Hollywood I can get to. That's not too far for me. Okay. Just trying to, she's more on the east side of Simi. So from my house, about 30 minutes out, more east, getting closer to the 126 and able to, you know, to. Yeah. I'm like 2 exits from the valley.
Yeah. 2 exits from the valley. So she's a little bit closer. But I just want to make sure that we're able to represent you, and we can try to do it the best we can. you went over a lot, and thank you. I try to take as copious of notes as I could, and usually, especially when we talk DTIs and things like that, I'm very comfortable with those numbers. But some of it sounded a little bit different than what I'm used to. And you mentioned that they have a realtor program that gives 2%. What is the 2%? Because the average commission, just so you know, is ballpark about 2.5% on a listing. One listing that was just being offered recently, because we're not going to steer to a smaller amount.
Give us 1 minute. He's gonna grab some.
Okay.
I don't know. Excuse himself. Give us 1 second. He wants to answer your question more comprehensively.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Because if we do have to find an agent who is qualified, who knows the specific area that you're looking for, I have to fully disclose to them when I send it out to them, you know, to basically make sure they're open and willing to do it. So we do give credits. We do help our clients out. I actually left C21 to join my parents at Veteran Home Services. My dad's retired military. So he started a company called Veteran Home Services, which gives me more flexibility to be able to do things. But it is, I also need to make sure, because if I can't and I have to refer it out, I need to make sure that whichever agent that I recommend it to, that they're open to it as well. So you said, and with the program with the bank, what's the major advantage with working with them?
So they give an example here of a home purchase.
Okay.
So if you buy a house for $550,000,
okay,
the agent's commission is 3%, which is $16,500.
Okay. They're saying that 3%. If you get that, that's pretty rare right now. But if it were, so 16 is what they said.
16.5, and then they give you a 20% rebate.
20% rebate,
which is $3,300. So that reduces the commission from 16.5
right
to 13.2.
Yeah, so they're taking
like that 20%
rebate
rebate I was talking about.
Right. Okay. So yeah, I thought I heard 2% of the commission, and so that's what that helps. So in terms of that kind of credit, if it was in our area, I'd be more than happy to honor a credit, and that's a little bit higher because we typically average commission here is 2.5% commission. It's not 3%. It's at 2.5%. The last one that my buyers that, like I said, they got beat out on 4 or 5 properties. The last one we got accepted was only a 2% commission. So that it can adjust, and I'm not going to not show a property just because they're not offering myself enough compensation. You know what I mean? I'm actually giving them $1,000 credit. They were referred by some friends and family. So we're more than open, us personally, in terms of helping with the credits. But as long as I disclose that, and we would just have to try to base the amount off of the roughly $430,000 price point. So have you done the math to try to see off 430 ballpark what that comes out to? 430.
430.
I'll do it off the 3 just to see what they have. 12.9 times 0.2. So that's about a $2,580 credit. So just so you know, because it's realistically, it's probably going to be 2.5% times 0.025. That's 1075 times 0.2. That's about 2150. It's about a $400 difference. But what I can do for you is I can say that you're working with a credit union that is offering roughly about a $2,500 credit at that purchase price. That's off at 3%, and see if they're comfortable with that. So normally if I were to refer business, just again, full disclosure, I would get a 25% referral off the commission. It's not likely going to happen if you're getting that credit, which I'm okay with. I want to make sure you guys are in the right hands. VCCDC, when I do the home buyer classes, I also have to cut them a credit for 25%. So that's also another thing as well. So it does make it a little bit challenging. And just so you know, and this is, again, just being just real talk and just blunt and direct about it. If you find an agent who's typically giving credits out, and I don't want to try to talk about myself because I do feel I'm an exception to many other agents. Most agents who are giving their credits out, they kind of they're either lacking in experience and they're not as strong, where the good agents, you normally want them to make their commission, you know, and then some of them, they're going to make up more than that $2,500 out of pocket. They're going to negotiate you a better deal, or it's going to be on repairs. There's a lot of different aspects here where that money can come a long way.
Give me 1 sec. I'll be right back, but go on. Sorry.
No problem.
I'm sorry, the baby woke up, but go ahead.
That's okay. So it's, and I'm speaking from the experience of, I know recently, well, actually it was about 3 years ago, there was a buyer who was working with an agent who's giving them a credit, and that's why they were working with them. They couldn't ever get their offer accepted. And then the loan officer, it's a different loan officer, you know, than BCCDC, a different loan officer. He knew that I could get the job done. So he called them up and said, look, you need to hire a better agent, you know, and they ended up getting rid of that agent, called me up. We were able to secure them a house and negotiate a good deal for them and just tell them, you know, the real information. So just for full disclosure, I'm open to it, but it doesn't mean that other agents are going to be, and I'd rather you get the better representation. It's going to be worth more than that. So yeah, I hope that all makes sense, but no, I appreciate you sharing that with me. Is that the incentive to stay with the credit union though? Is that credit for the agent, or is there more that they're doing for you?
Well, we've been banking with this credit union and we wanted to take advantage of like the 10% down for teachers and all that. But the more research we do, the more we find that they don't really do the down payment assistance programs that we learned about on Saturday.
Right.
And if we did find someone who would be like able to walk us through that process, we could go with them.
Okay. Yeah, that's that would be my recommendation. Well, if you're looking for the money out of pocket, Dunson was sharing, you ballpark have about 40,000, is that correct? About 40,000 that you could put towards like total cash to close, money down and closing costs. Is that accurate, or is that not accurate?
Yes, that is accurate.
That's accurate. Okay. So if you're buying around 400,000 and you got about 40 in total, that's roughly about 5% down, and then a little bit more for closing costs. In some situations, it's tough in this competitive market, but not more than 3-4 months ago, I was able to we wrote 10 over asking price, but we asked for 10,000 closing costs back. Okay. So in terms of financing it, it was only an extra $60 a month in payment, but they were able to keep that $10,000, and they got the house that they want. And the house was actually priced really well. I'm talking about with the Wood Ranch property that we did with Debbie Gates recently.
Oh, yeah.
So on that property, they dropped the price. We just got it at the time that buyers still weren't jumping as quickly as they're jumping right now. And so it sat on the market for about 30 days after they dropped it from $725 down to $675. We wrote $685 and got 10 back. And the houses right now are still selling for $730 in that neighborhood. And my clients got it at $685 and saved 10 out of pocket. So that's what I'm saying in terms of the skill set and the level. That you really want to be with somebody who knows the market, knows the ins and outs, not somebody who's just showing you and trying to plug and play. Now, not to say anything bad about the person who's sending you the warehouse properties and that, but what most agents do, and we do it as well, is you'll tell us this is what we're looking for. This is the size house. These are the beds and the baths and the areas that you shared with us. We will plug it into the system for the MLS, and then you're going to get everything. Stuff that you don't want, stuff that you do want, because there's not a lot of inventory out there. So we don't want you to miss anything. So it's called a subscription, and we set you up on that subscription. But what will also happen is you'll also look on different platforms. We have an app that you can run searches on. A lot of people use Zillow, they use Redfin, they use these other apps. And then what you would do is you send us, hey, we're interested in this property. And then when you text it over to us, now I call that agent and say, hey, do you have any offers? And we start vetting these properties to make sure they're available. And then if there are any offers, how much time do we have to be able to see the property? So that's the challenge that I'm seeing, is in terms of being able to set up some showings. We can do some stuff. I mean, Yvette, would you be open to it? Of trying to show some that are closer towards you? We can do it.
We can do that.
But I also know that you want to make sure that you have somebody who can just, if you need something immediately, you can get up and go see it, as quick as it comes up as well, because it is a competitive market. So, but we do have some LA agents as well that we've worked with and referred to in the past as well. So Either way, we're going to help you get to the next step, which is going to get you closer to finding the right person, whether it's us or somebody who is more central for you. So we just don't want to do you a disservice. Believe me, I'd love to just say, yeah, we got you. We'll take care of you and we'll find you a house. But if we're not the best people for the job in terms of proximity, then it's not fair to you. There's too much involved in it, you know, and I'm speaking for myself. I'm not an area expert in the areas that you were referring to. I can pull up data and I can look at it and get a good feel for it. I know how quick properties are moving, but I don't have the same network pool that Yvette and I have out here in Ventura County. So Are you sure you don't want to move to Camarillo or Thousand Oaks?
I'm sure I don't want to move, man.
That's awesome. So you're going to medical school?
I finished medical school, so now I'm training at this hospital near downtown called Adventist Health White Memorial.
Okay.
Awesome.
And then what are you going to do moving forward?
So I'm going to be in residency for 3 years total.
Okay.
And then if I feel like my heart is particularly inclined, I may or may not do a fellowship, but I would like to start practicing soon. I'm in family medicine, so I have a lot of things I could do.
That's great. Yeah, and then your husband's going to law school. I don't wish that on anybody.
Yeah, it's a he's trudging along one day at a time.
Yeah.
And surprisingly, he does it very well.
At SC Law School too, man. That's impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah. How many years? What year are you at USC?
I'm doing a master's in law.
Oh, master's.
It's a 1-year program. I'm halfway through. I just have a semester to go.
Okay.
That's because I'm qualified in UK and in Kenya as well.
Awesome.
So I'm just trying to get a California license.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just saying, I don't wish that law school on anybody, man. So 2 years at Gonzaga, and I struggled my first year, finally started getting it second and third year. By the time I finished, I'm a slow learner. By the time I finished, I was okay. But it's I took the bar 3 times. So if I haven't scared you guys away yet, you know, that's came really close on the second time I took it. And you know, eventually I just realized that real estate was going to be the field and the pursuit. I started in 2004 with my family before I went to law school. And I knew this was my calling in my area that I enjoyed. And luckily, because of it, you know, I met Bertha with BC CDC. She hired me. They actually asked me to be on their board of directors right out of law school. And she knew me. Well, she heard from Alex Vegas, the director of lending. And Alex was like, we need this guy on our board. So we go out to lunch. And then she was like, you know what, we're going to create a department for you. We want you to run our real estate department. We did that for 2 years. It was awesome. Learned all the great programs and resources. So it's worth looking into. You know, as you were talking about seeing what other programs are out there, what's your timeline like? How are you guys doing in terms of timing? Are you currently in a lease, or what's your situation?
The pre-approval we have is good for 75 days.
Yeah.
That's from the 24th of?
The 4th. December.
From the 4th of December, so 75 days.
Right.
From that point.
Okay. And don't let that stress you out or make you feel like that's your timing. More what's important is when's the best time for you. So are you on a month-to-month lease right now, or are you in a year lease, or what's your current living situation?
We're on a year lease that ends on the mid-May.
In mid-May?
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked to the landlord. They're cool with us leaving, but that gives us an obligation for us to find an alternative tenant who qualifies. So they'll have to go through all the credit checks as well. Right. If they're a good fit, we show them the place ourselves.
Yep.
Then that's fine. We can do a smooth transition. If we don't get somebody and close, then we're going to have to eat that until the May.
Yeah, and just so you know, and it's as you know, with going to law school, not giving legal advice, right? But we've been able to, just knowing enough about how it works, your landlord has a duty to mitigate. So they have a duty to try to also find, they can't just say, oh no, you're on the hook till this point in time. with a high renter demand right now, you'll have no issue finding somebody. The worst that I've seen anybody have to pay is 2 months rent. That's the worst. And that's usually some type of clause that's in the lease, a termination clause that's in the lease that says, hey, you got to pay this much. But they can't benefit both places. They can't make money from you and then also find a replacement tenant and make extra money from you and from them. So they have a duty to mitigate. So usually worst case, it's 2 months, but most situations it's 1 month that you pay extra for a termination if you needed to. And again, if you find a replacement, you don't have to pay anything. You know, it's a smooth transition if they're open. So normally what the landlord wants is for you to be open to show your place to other prospective tenants. And if you're cooperative with them, it makes it easier for them to find somebody. So that's good to know about mid-May. And the reason why that's important is you talked about BC CDC, and I'll just jump into it really quick with what their down payment assistance is. Number one, you may make too much money, as we've already talked about, right? Between both of your incomes and where you're at when they add unemployment. Have you guys talked to anybody at BC CDC to see if you qualify yet? You did.
We had a phone. It was like the very initial phone consultation this morning, and they told, like, I just knew this even from Saturday. We don't qualify for like the WISH grant and all that.
Okay.
But, and the money is available starting April. But the thing is, like, my contract stipulates my salary, but I've only worked for 3 months. So if you were to use the taxes, we would be below that income threshold.
That quick question if you don't qualify for Cal HFA, does that mean you don't qualify for Cal Plus as well?
That's a good question. I'm not qualified to answer that about the Cal Plus because I'm not sure on that. I know Cal HFA is moderate income, and moderate income limits have gone up a lot. They're up to about, I want to say for like a household size, I believe of 4, and you're 3 right now, right? I want to say it's somewhere between 175 to 190 ballpark. So you should be under the Cal HFA. My guess is you're probably still, most people are good with Cal HFA. Now, where it becomes important, and you mentioned about having roughly about 40,000 total cash to close, what you really want to do the analysis and see where I'm trying to tread lightly is because I met you through VC CDC, I'm trying not to refer you. If say you were introduced to me somewhere else, right? You had a mutual friend heard about us, said you need to talk to Brandon and Yvette, talk to them. And they're who you need to work with on real estate. The very first step, and that's why somebody asked the question, I don't know if it was you that asked the question, do I talk to a loan officer or real estate agent first? Really, I want people to talk to me first because then once I know ballpark where their numbers are at, I can tell them, okay, you want to talk to this person first, VC CDC, or you want to talk to this other gentleman that we have, his name's Jason Harrelson. So if you spoke to him, Jason he's the guy that he's a broker. He's my go-to guy, and it's more traditional loans. It's not going to be down payment assistance, even though he's very familiar with down payment assistance, and he helped us a lot in the past with it. But what he would do is do a cost analysis of this is Cal HFA versus this is just a traditional FHA or conventional loan. And this is what you're going to get in with ballpark 5% down conventional, right? Versus that. And this is your total cash to close here versus down payment assistance here, because with the Cal HFA down payment assistance, you're going to pay a little bit higher interest rate. The rate's a little higher. Like even on that, where you're showing 3, it was like 3.25, I believe, basically. The buyers that we're helping, that Jason's helping right now with 5% down, they're buying here in Camarillo actually at 685, 5% down. They have, their rate is like a 2.6. I want to say it's like a 2.6 interest rate. It's a huge difference, between that and then 3.25. So you want to look and see what's the total cost, what's the closing cost versus, down payment assistance versus not. Now, if you went and your income was under where you qualified for WISH and you qualified for everything BC CDC had to offer, I'd say hands down, there's nothing better than what they offer. Because the forgivable grants, you can't, that's free money. That's, come April, that's money it's forgiven after 5 years. Well, that's 80% or below AMI, area median income. It's very hard to qualify for that. Very hard, even in the higher cost of living here. So you got to make sure you fit in their box in terms of their numbers. And if you don't, then you have to look at, okay, either Cal HFA or a traditional conventional loan. So that's what I would be telling you. I'm just sharing with you now just because, you know, I need to just give you as much information, again, to empower you so that you can make an informed decision. Couch FA may be the way to go, but it may also still be better to go just a traditional conventional loan route, especially if you have enough of the total cash to close, the money down and the closing costs. And sometimes you can negotiate those closing costs. So does that help at all, or is that, you know?
Yeah, so I guess my question is, it seems like you will be referring us to someone who's more familiar with this area.
Correct.
Yeah, okay.
That's more likely going to be the case. We can try it if you want. I mean, it's, as long as Yvette, you're open to it, and I can try to go out on the first set of showings. It is a little bit further of a commute for myself, but I can try to go out just to try to get a feel for it and give you pointers and tips. And if you feel good with it and you think that we can represent you and service you well, then we'll do it. We'd love to help you out with it, but I also don't want to overextend us to where you're, you know, we can only see it. Maybe we could schedule it like once or twice a week where you can have an agent there who is available as a property pops up. Because some of these homes, they're moving so quickly, but others, they're getting 7 days. When they get 7 days, it's multiple offers and going way over asking price. So I'm pretty shocked to see that one that you showed me, that's 430,000, 1,800 square feet. We don't have anything like that around here, not around here. So that's what I'm saying. I don't want to do you a disservice by advising you based on what we're seeing over here when you do have opportunities like that there. Can you think of anything around here, Yvette, that's 1,800 square feet in the low fours?
Not that I can think of.
Yeah.
Not at that price. No.
I'm trying to even think some of the lower cost areas, Santa Paula and those, but they're still pushing close to 600,000. You know. For some of the you know, more cost.
I mean, yeah, not for. I mean, I looked at this one. It's pretty nice. I mean, I will say it's weird because it shows negative days on market.
So they sold it before it hit then?
Yeah, it shows -8 days.
Okay.
Oh, I don't know what that means, but I just found it. I was like, wow,
yeah.
I mean, it'd be awesome. It's just, that's not, and from what I hear, at least throughout LA County, they're very aggressive, very competitive, even shorter days on market than what we're seeing here in Ventura County. So,
I do have one agent that I do her files, you know, for and help with out that does all of LA area that I can just even ask.
Who's the agent?
Donna Finley.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not.
Yeah, she's works with a really small broker, but I can even just ask her about areas that, you know, and what the market looks like. I mean, I know some of the ones that she has sold, I'm like 800,000 for a really tiny thing in LA.
Yeah. But even like a 2-3 bedroom, maybe not 1,800 square feet, but
yeah, no, I mean, so I looked at one that's like in the heart. I mean, I was just like 800,000. It's like 1923 small original home. So I mean, I do know a little bit more of the area because of Donna, and I can always ask her for even advice of how the market is out there because she's got buyers. So I could find out some more stuff for us too.
Well, what would you know, Betty, I just wanted to give full disclosure. What would your comfort be? I mean, would you prefer that we try to find somebody? Would you prefer that we try to go out and see some properties first?
So this is what I think. Okay. It sounds like the market is still, like, there's a low interest rate. People are really going for it. And if you really feel like you're not able to give your 100% and you feel like you know somebody who would, we're open to meeting that person. Okay. You know, I just don't, this is such a daunting experience for us. We wouldn't want to like be dilly-dallying and confused in the darkness.
Right. Also,
I'm gonna be done with maternity leave soon. Like right now, I'm at home.
Right.
My husband is at home because he's a teacher and a student. There's no, like, we're literally available right now. You can tell us, let's go look at a property. We'll just get in the car.
Yeah.
But soon I'll be going back in about 2-3 weeks. I will be going back to residency, and so then we have certain limits. We start to have limitations at that point.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
If you found the right house now, are you in position to be able to write the offer and secure it now?
I guess, yeah, you mean like, do we have a down payment in the bank account?
Well, just meaning, yeah, so you got qualified, you have a pre-approval. So say today the perfect house came up, we saw it, we showed it, we found out that it was available, and we were able to write on it. Are you in that position to do that right now?
Yeah.
Okay. It's your call, Betty, and it's, believe me, no offense is taken here, and that's why I wanted to be completely upfront. I would love to help you out. Just, I mean, even off your email, your initial email, I could see the excitement. You know, I guess just in terms of the class, what was it about it that compelled you to want to reach out?
So I reached out to you because, you know, I've been reading this information online, and it sounded, you know, we were talking about, okay, what should you ask your agent? Right. Sometimes agents, they are kind of new in the market. They don't really know the market very well, or they kind of want cut time. And you said that, you know, your buyer's agent should be really in your corner. And I was like, wow, okay. From the experience we've had from the other realtor, we're not really getting that experience. Let me just reach out to Brandon Rami, see what he has to say, if he's available, if he's taking on new clients, because like we're not, I guess you can say we're not at the point where we're building up our credit. We're kind of thinking about it, like we're ready to go.
Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's see what we can try to find out first. So let's try this. Okay. Let us see what we can have access to off the MLS. Let's send you some properties, see what's coming up on our search. If we're not getting everything that you should be seeing on our access, like I said, it's not typical that we do send it, but we do get a lot of areas, and they've actually combined MLSs to make sure that we can service further out. So as long as we can send you the adequate properties, and then if you see some homes that look good, let's try to set up a time and see if it works. And then we'll call up, we'll check with the agent, see if it works out. We'll try to map out some homes, and we'll try to keep it more in the area that is closer. There may be some further out that, you know, just a little too far for us. But let's try to, even if we can do it, where we check out 3 or 4 homes on a specific day, go check it out, get a feel for it. If it seems like something we can do, great, you know. But if it doesn't seem like something that's a good fit for everybody, and then we will be upfront with you as well, because we know how important this is for you. You know what I mean? It's not that we wouldn't give you our 100%. It's physically located wise, being in position. I had actually, Jason, the guy I was telling you about, he had a client that was out not too far from where you're at. And he wanted to list his house with me, and he liked the way everything sounded on the phone, but he went with a local agent, and I couldn't blame him. But even with that, with a listing, it's a lot more, I could do so much more up front, and then other agents are just showing the property. With showing properties as a buyer's agent, it gets a little bit more challenging. But what some people will do, they have it they're called out-of-area agents. They have an out-of-area agent, usually giving them a credit or something of that. And so that buyer will actually, the agent will set up showings, and that buyer will go directly to the house without the agent and have it where it's being open for them. You know what I mean? And then the agent's calling and doing that. So I've never liked to do that. I've never done that. We always go and open the door and figure out a way to do it. So, but let's try it if you want to, unless you want us to just call, you know, Yvette's contact, and then we can call a few others and see who we think would be a good fit. You know, so it's your call. What's your preference with that?
Give me 1 second. My husband has a.
No problem.
Okay, so I think we should go with what you said. We should try to look at what comes up on your search, and then if it really doesn't work, then we can work with the referral. Okay. My husband's question is, so there's some properties where I see, like on Zillow, they have a virtual like 3D tour. Yeah. Is it possible to do that before we actually go there physically? Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes the agents have it, not every property. But some do have the virtual tours that are already ready to go. And it's when the shutdown was more recent, you know, where we weren't even allowed to get inside properties, that was the only way to access. So it was a little more prevalent then. It's not as much now. You know, it's not cheap to do those virtual tours. The legit some are just photos, and they're just all put together.
But the one that's the Matterport 3D4, you know, it's not the cheapest, so not everybody does it, you know.
No, yeah,
So,
just a
but
few.
yeah, when they have it, we can send it to you, and that way, before having to drive out there and commit to that. But what I think we should do is try to send you a list of homes, come up with a good, I would say probably, if there are that many out there, 5 to 10 properties that you're interested in. Send us that list, and we'll communicate, and we'll go through it, and we'll start calling those agents, see what the status is. If they already have offers, we'll pass on them, just because it's not likely we're going to be in position time-wise to be able to make something happen. But if they don't have any offers on the table and they're available and we got a legitimate shot at it, then we'll set up 4 or 5 homes and then go check these properties out. And then when we go from there, we'll see what we think. If we like it, great. If we don't like it, no big deal, you know, but at least that way we can kind of get a feel for it. And then also, if we decide that it's better to refer a local agent who specializes in that area, then we could do it. Now, you know, as much as I've been honest and put everything up front, I guess the negative up front first, on the positive side, we are good at what we do, right? We're good at negotiating. We're good at communicating. We're good at, we know the contracts very well. We know how to protect you through the process. So you're not working with amateurs here on this side, you know what I mean? So even if there is a distance, potential, it's not different in terms of how we negotiate and how we go through the process to protect you. So I want to give you the confidence on that. And if you decide like, hey, we really like the 2 of you, we know that there may be something where we have to kind of book 1 or 2 days out and just say, hey, these are the homes that we want to see, you know, when can we set it up? And we'll see how it works. And if it's not fast enough for you, just communicate that with us, you know what I mean, as quickly as possible. And there's no hard feelings either way. You know, we want to help you out. So does that sound fair? Do you guys want to start with that?
Yeah, we can start with that.
Okay. Sound good?
Yeah, that sounds pretty good. Sorry about the in and out.
No problem.
Don't worry.
He was just over here.
We understand. I am sending you a buyer intake form to fill out.
Okay.
It'll just help us with details of what you're looking for, areas you're looking for. That way our search is tailored to you the best that we can. So you're not getting any vacant warehouses.
Okay. The other thing I was going to say is that in your presentation, you talk about the buyer's agent, seller's agent. So we reached out to you. So you would be a buyer's agent?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, it's well, and in some situations we're sellers agents as well, right? But last year, you know, my number is better than me. Was it, how many, was it 11 buyers? 11 or 12 buyers? Actually, this one's the 12. 12 buyers?
I think it was 12.
Yeah, 12 buyers and 8 listings, I think.
Let me tell you right now.
Maybe 13. I don't know, because there's the one with my mom that we represented both sides. My parents both.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
All right, and then since also you have some listing experience, does that mean in your area you're familiar with city code?
Yep.
Inspections required, stuff like that?
Right. Yes.
Safety?
Yes, sir. And LA City and County does have different requirements than Ventura County as well. So you have to make sure that it meets, it's called the government retrofits. That's a certain box that's checked. It's 7E2, I think it is, right? Does that sound right? So 7E2. And then when that box is checked off, the seller has to make sure these minimum requirements are met. So just for example, I said water heater, smoke detector, carbon monoxide, right? We talked about that. Well, LA County, then you also have the gas shutoff valve. If it has gas to the property, there has to be a shutoff valve, and not every property has that shutoff valve. If they have a sliding glass door that goes to the outside, that has to be tempered glass. If not, they put a glazing on that. It also has to have low flow toilet fixtures, things like that. So it's all needs to be met. So if all those things aren't done, those things have to be corrected prior to transferring from the seller to the buyer. So it's there's a specific form. We had it from one of the escrow officers we recently worked with that the seller has to go through and do it. And then one of the agents that I was training not too long ago, he had one in LA County as well. And so we were coaching them through that process. But yeah, that's really the biggest difference. Other than that, everything else is the exact same contract.
Okay. All right, then. It sounds good. Thank you. We went over 7 minutes, but what do you
no.
think?
It's okay. I put it on there. It's I definitely want to respect your time, but we made ourselves available. I always put 45 minutes on there, but as you saw with the home buyer workshop, it's very hard for me to keep it within that 45 minutes.
Yeah.
When we teach that class before, it's literally about 2 to 3 hours. We take our time. I'm not having to talk that fast.
Yeah.
We really jump into the contract and the timeline. And for some people, depending on where you're at, we can set up a class like that and actually go through it and take our time going through it. But usually I would say I think you got enough of it. I'm hopeful you got enough from that class.
Yeah.
But if we get closer to it with writing offers, we can set up a time and do that. And then just make sure that you fully know what to expect before you write that first offer.
Okay.
All righty.
Yeah. So are you going to be sending us a link for this Zoom recording?
Yes, I'm going to send you a link for this. First, it's going to be backed up on here. And then what I do is I upload it to YouTube on a private link, and then I'll share that with you. So,
Sweet.
and then you guys can check that out. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I feel like, I definitely got a lot of information from you, but I was still kind of confused on that credit union, just what the setup is. You know what I mean? In terms of, because normally what I'm used to, I'll see if I can show it to you. It may be hard to see it off the screen. I'm trying to find something from Jason. So what I get is a screenshot, and this makes it really easy for me.
Can you share a file over there?
Here you go. Okay. All right. So can you see that okay? You guys see that?
Yeah.
See my head
Coming
in
out
it.
okay? All right. So basically what it shows is a purchase price of $535, conventional loan amount. So this one's about 5% down, 30-year loan, 2.75. So it shows you what all of the monthly payment breakdown of it comes out to roughly about 20, I think that's 2,600.
2639, yeah.
Yeah, and the total cash to close is 45,000. Okay, that's at a 535 purchase price. And that's roughly about 45K or so total cash to close. Your down payment, 5%, and then all the rest of your closing costs. And they're actually paying some points to bring the rate down a little bit on there too. So that's there's a way to get rid of the mortgage insurance. So the reason why I show you that screen is when I work with a buyer and their loan officer, if it's somebody outside of who I use, I need to know all the details. So I know, okay, this is specifically, like you said, it had to be 430 without any HOAs, right? No HOAs. Well, usually for every $100 a month in HOAs is about $10,000 in purchase price. So $30,000, $300 a month in HOA. If you're at 430, you got to be under 400,000 on your asking price with the $300 HOA to be equivalent payment wise with the 430 with no HOAs. It's not exact, but that's always a quick, good, rough estimate. You know what I mean? If you were out there looking and you found something with an HOA, does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was just asking if she can download that document we got from the credit union and then upload it as a file in the chat.
Okay.
So she's gonna just give us a second.
Perfect.
Just go to the email, download it, and then drop it in the chat.
Which email?
The page you were sharing earlier.
Or if you'd like to email it either. You can email that over as well.
Okay, I'll email it.
Yeah, I just want to make sure I fully understand. And I know you've been a long time member. And again, not trying to talk you out of doing it. It's our job is to sell, okay, this is the best product out there. As a listing agent, if I ever get somebody who's qualified, typically with a credit union or any of the big banks, I'm normally going to ask them to cross-qualified with my trusted loan officer, because it's normally not as detailed in terms of they're checking you out as who I trust, right? The person I typically work with. So it can hurt you sometimes is what I'm trying to say, because we've worked with credit unions, we've worked with big banks in the past, and we work with a lot of military as well. Well, they all want to use USAA. USAA and Navy Fed are tough to work with in terms of closing. And you want to know as a loan officer in your credit union, are they going to be the one who's helping you from beginning to end? Or are they just processing at the beginning? Once you get to a certain step, then it goes to another group, then you get to another step, then it goes to the closing department at the very end. That's how a lot of banks work, and they're going off volume, right? So people will go to internet rates, and they do that, and it's that same experience. It can be done, just more challenging. So if I have rapport with that agent, I can convince them, hey, look, these guys are solid, we're going to get it done, and it can happen. If I don't have that, it gets a little bit more challenging. And out in LA, I don't have the same type of connections as what I have out here in Ventura County. So, you know, that's where I'm trying to just be as brutally honest and upfront with you as I can.
Okay.
Cool.
So,
that's good information. We just dropped off that document in the chat.
We'll email it to you as well.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm downloading it off of here right now. Trying to think, is there anything else? Are you guys, are we pretty good right now? And then we'll try to set you up on a search, send you some homes. And then I wrote down all the areas, so we'll try to map it out. You mentioned APU. Was it Glendora? Is that how you say it?
Glendora with a G.
Oh, Glendora. I don't know right what Glendora. Glendora, Laverne, Claremont, Upland. You said Upland was close by. Any other areas that I missed over there?
North
Montclair.
Hollywood.
Montclair.
Azusa, San Dimas.
Yeah, also Azusa,
Azusa.
San Dimas.
Right? Okay. And you said about a 25-mile radius, right?
Yeah.
From Union Station,
From
downtown.
Union Station, downtown. Okay.
By the way, do you guys do Sun Valley as well?
Sun Valley?
Sun Valley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's, Yvette's more familiar than I am with it, but yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can do Sun Valley.
Yeah, Sun Valley as well on that side.
Okay.
And you did say North Hollywood?
Yeah, NoHo,
Okay.
like 6 to 10 miles from the NoHo metro station.
Okay.
So it's not really NoHo. They call it Los Angeles in the listings.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm on Northridge. Okay. All right then.
All right. So we'll.
Yeah, we just one little tip, Yvette. We also do like walking around.
Okay.
So if it's a walking safe type neighborhood where you can walk around, that's perfect.
I like it.
Or green space parks, stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So no gunshots.
I'm right there with you. I am an avid runner, and having my son in a stroller outside was like, I need it to be a safe running area.
Yeah. So not where you're walking around and there's 40 bottles on the street and syringes and stuff like that from the night before.
I get you.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
Okay.
That makes sense. No, that's awesome. Well, we'll set up the search, and then is there a day and time that you think would be nice if we could try to set something up in terms of showings?
When do you go back? 5th?
I go back to, what are you gonna close for Christmas? You must close for some. Are you gonna be closed for the rest of the week?
Not necessarily, but it's. I mean, Christmas. We'll take Christmas Eve off.
Yeah.
Yeah,
New Year's Eve.
I'm Scrooge here, and Yvette and I are working. But
I'm probably gonna go back to work on the 4th or the 11th.
Okay.
We have like a whole 2 weeks between now and then, for which we're available.
Okay.
So available from
Tomorrow.
9 to 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 9 to 5 from now until January 4th. Ready to go.
Okay.
Pull the trigger.
All right.
Let's find you something.
Yeah, just do it.
We'll just find it quick. Find the house, write an offer, get it accepted. It's that easy. We'll just get it done. All right. Well, yeah, 1,800 square feet at 430,000. We'll find it next week. So yeah, so we'll send that search out, and then let's touch base, and we'll circle back, find out when we can set those up, and if we can, I mean, if it's as early as tomorrow, I don't know again what your availability looks like. I know you have Oliver with babysitting and that too, so we'll figure it out, and we'll see what we can do. So let's send you the search, and then go ahead.
Yeah, quick question about appliances. On a scale of 1 to 10, how many homes live on basic appliances like a stove, dishwasher, washing machines, just to get going before we start upgrading. And like you just walk in and first thing is you're trying to buy a stove on New Year's Eve.
Right. I'd say out of 90% of the offers we write, if not all of them, we always ask to include the fridge, the washer, the dryer, the stove, dishwashers typically included. Some places the fridge will already be out and the washer dryer will already be out. Sometimes it's like that. But in the majority of the homes, I'd say we write it in. But sometimes it is a negotiating piece. So if it's a multiple offer situation and somebody really wants to keep their fridge or their washer dryer, we're not going to fight over it. We want the house, right? But we're gonna write it in as many times as we can, just so that you move in and you have something there. We also write in the warranty as well, the home warranty.
The home warranty.
Yeah, just in case something isn't working or it goes out, the dishwasher goes out or the washer dryer does. We always try to write a pretty sizable home warranty. The last one we got accepted, it was high, it was like $745 for a home warranty, which most times, most agents, I mean, I've seen them counter back as low as like $350 on a home warranty. But this year, maybe because a lot of our offers have been over asking price, they're not countering that if they're making extra money on the actual sale of the home, so we try to write in as much as we can just to save your out-of-pocket expenses, and then if something goes out, then you have that covered as well. So yeah, we'll definitely try to write those in, but my guess is hopefully we can get those appliances for you.
Okay.
All right.
All righty. Well, we'll get rolling. We'll see what we can do. We'll send you some properties. And again, if it doesn't seem like it doesn't work out, we'll let you know as quickly as possible, because we know time's of the essence with what you have in terms of your amount of time before you go back. So either way, we're gonna get you going in the right direction. Either way.
Okay.
Hopefully, we're the ones handing you the keys, though. That's what I'm hoping for.
Wow, that would be amazing.
well
Right.
thank you both for what you're doing, and it's always nice just meeting good people that are working hard out there. So anything that we can do to help you out, I'm just grateful for you reaching out to us.
Thank you.
Thanks very much. Appreciate you, man.
All right.
Thanks for the time.
Not a problem. Nice meeting you both. All right. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
Okay. Bye-bye.
You did well.